Welcome to Ryan's Running Reviews in partnership with Roadrunner Sports, and today we're taking a look at the completely redesigned Nike Vomero 18. Let's run with it. Before we get started, I do want to say that these shoes were provided to me by Roadrunner Sports. However, no one had a chance to preview this video. This file synopsis is my own. I'd just like to say please leave a like on the video and consider subscribing. Here we go. Nike has come out with a new organizational structure to help people understand all the different types of running shoes that they offer. I think this is a fairly big problem in the running shoe space, because each brand has a ridiculous number of options. So according to Nike, you have the Structure family, which is really designed for stability, the Pegasus family, kind of your all-around daily trainer, and then the Vomero family focused on premium cushioning, and we have the Vomero 18 here in front of me. Now, within each of these families, there's different tiers. You have the Icon model, the Plus model, and then the Premium model. The Vomero Plus and Premium have not been announced yet officially, and we are taking a look at the Icon Vomero family shoe, which is the Vomero 18. So essentially, this is their base model or Icon model, kind of shoe daily trainer focused on max cushioning. The shoe comes in at $150, which is about what I expected. However, what I did not expect is the shoe to be officially listed at 11.5 ounces for US men's size 10, which puts it firmly on the heavier end of things. Now, I was surprised mainly because when running in the shoe, yes, I was like, yeah, it's a little bit heavy, but it didn't feel 11.5 ounces heavy. So I actually put it on a scale, compared it to some other shoes, all the exact same size. The other shoes were officially listed kind of at like that 10.5 ounce range, and they weighed the same on my scale as the Vomero 18. So I'm not sure, maybe Nike is overstating or brands are understating their weights, but either way, it felt very manageable and not overly heavy while running. Yes, it's not the lightest shoe out there, but it felt manageable for me. Now, part of the reason the shoe is, I guess, on the heavier end is the amount of stack height. We have 46 in the heel, 36 in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. And I will say this thing has a massive base to it. It flares out and you're just running on a large midsole, which I think is pretty much the whole point of the Vomero family within Nike's running shoe lineup. The shoe did fit true to size for me. It didn't feel overly narrow, which has been the case on some historical Nike models that I've tried. The toe box wasn't overly cramped. Yes, you have a bit of a taper and it's not the widest toe box ever, but I didn't feel constrained or restricted by this upper in general. The material is two different layers of engineered mesh, the outer layer, then an internal fabric liner, which connects directly to the tongue, making it fully gusseted. I thought the breathability was about average, maybe slightly warmer because you have those two different layers of material, but comfortable nonetheless. The tongue is incredibly wide and plush, a very premium, just plush overall experience with this upper. Does a good job of kind of wrapping over the top of your foot and preventing lace pressure. You also had this thick kind of plastic Nike logo at the top, which I think works, one, for just aesthetics, and two, kind of prevents any lace bite as you really kind of tie things down. As you go towards the back of the heel counter, you have a light amount of padding. It's not overly stiff or rigid, has a decent amount of flex to it, but I do think holds your heel in place with a deep pocket for your heel to slide back into. And of course, we do have that pull tab at the rear with a couple reflective elements. Overall, this is just a nice premium feeling plush upper. Really liked the experience, very comfortable, not overly restrictive. So yeah, a premium fit for the Icon model, which again is at the base of the Pegasus family. And I thought the lockdown was stellar, which is also quite important when you're running on a midsole this large. The midsole has two different kinds of foam. It's a little bit confusing because you see ZoomX on the side, which makes you think it's all ZoomX foam, and that's not the case. We actually have some branding or kind of labeling at the back of the heel. It says ZoomX is on top and ReactX is on the bottom. If you're not familiar with Nike running shoe foams, ZoomX is their top tier, super responsive material that we see on their racing shoes like the Alphafly and Vaporfly. Sometimes I think they do tune it to kind of put on these daily trainers. Not sure if that's exactly the case because we have that large layer of ReactX foam underneath, which is kind of their more conventional daily training running shoe foam, helps stabilize that rather soft and bouncy ZoomX foam, which sits on top. I do have to mention that the outsole geometry plays a big role in how this midsole feels. And that's partially because you have this large cutout in the heel and midfoot, which enables the foam to expand even more, making the soft midsole feel even softer. Now, since we're here on the outsole, I have to talk about this lug pattern. It's these large individual squares, which kind of makes it look or almost feel like a hybrid road/trail shoe. I did take it on some grass and other things, and it did decently well. And I think my hot take is you could probably make this a hybrid road/trail shoe because of this lug pattern. You have a ton of surface area and the lugs are fairly aggressive compared to more traditional road running shoes, which have a more fairly smooth outsole traction pattern. So how did the Vomero 18 perform? Well, I was actually quite impressed with the amount of squish and bounce out of the heel and midfoot. The forefoot, and this is probably my biggest criticism of this shoe, felt a bit flat, wasn't as expressive as I was hoping for, especially because the midsole is so large. If you're a heel striker or a midfoot striker, I think this will be right up your alley. I really liked it for my easier days and recovery efforts, mainly because it's just a nice kind of plush, but not overly soft midsole experience. And when I try to push the pace, you can do it. I know people will actually be able to run quite fast in this shoe, but it just wasn't for me, especially because the forefoot just felt a bit flat in my experience. As far as the stability goes with this amount of midsole, I would give it like probably an average highly cushioned neutral shoe rating. It's not super squirrely and overly soft, but I wouldn't rate this as like the most stable, highly cushioned neutral shoe either, partially because it's fairly flexible and bendable. It's pretty easy to move this large midsole around. I also know a lot of people use Nike running shoes as casual or lifestyle options, and I think this is going to be a hit, mainly because you feel that softness right when you put your foot in this shoe. The upper's comfortable, the midsole is also very comfortable, and I don't think it looks half bad either. So if you're looking to throw down some PRs at Costco as you go around the laps and get all those free samples, I think this may be a winner for you, especially if you like a kind of fairly soft and squishy running shoe that you can use for both walking and everyday wear. Well, that concludes my review. Let me know what you think of the Vomero 18 and Nike's whole running shoe lineup. I would love to hear from you. I'm Ryan from Ryan's Running Reviews, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks.